The Halo 65 is Nuphy's newest launch, which came after the popularity of the Air 75 and the Air 60, which are low-profile keyboards that are also compatible with Mac and Windows, and they are both Bluetooth. Now, the Halo 65 is a great keyboard. For this keyboard itself, Nuphy even had a collaboration with Gateron, and they had the Gateron Baby Kangaroo switches, which is included in all of the spacebars for the Halo 65. But is this even a good keyboard for Mac? Let's take a look. Now, the first thing I want to talk about this keyboard is the design of the keyboard. Now, the top of the keyboard is aluminum, but the bottom has ABS plastic, meaning the bottom is going to be a little bit more stable whenever it's on a surface, so it doesn't slide around a lot. But the top is aluminum, giving it that premium look. Now, the keyboard is available in two different options. I have here the white Halo 65. It's also available in black. They're both very minimal, very clean designs. The bottom ABS housing does have these ridges at the bottom, which are really nice, like a nice feel or a nice touch. And then the top also has the Nuphy logo on the top right, which honestly is more of kind of like a burn-in or an imprint. It's not in bold letters and it's not a different color than the housing, meaning that it's not really too noticeable and it keeps a clean, minimal look. The keycaps themselves also have a really clean design. They do include extra keycaps that are more on this seafoam green color, as well as having another set of keycaps that is all yellow in case you want to switch the keycaps around. I personally like orange, so I kept the orange keycaps for the escape and the enter, but I did switch out the spacebar to be a clean, minimal white rather than keeping a colored one. And now the major part of this keyboard being the halo light, which is why this keyboard is called the Halo 65. It has a sort of RGB light that comes around the edges between the aluminum and the ABS housing. There is a light that comes around the keyboard, which gives a little halo or a little glow onto your desk, which is really clean. I like the way it looks. And then aside from that, it also has RGB lights or LEDs on all of the keys. So if you're really into RGB, this is a great keyboard for you. Now onto another part of the keyboard is the connectivity, and this is honestly a really great keyboard because it has multiple connection options. Now a lot of keyboards, if you get into the custom world, a lot of them are wired. That's something that I've complained about before. I kind of gotten used to it now. I have a cable on my desk that's permanently there, so now I have no problem with either wired or wireless. But this does come with a Bluetooth chip, or I guess it's Bluetooth compatible, as well as having 2.0 gigahertz. There is a USB-C dongle on this keyboard, which is honestly in this clean little spot here. You can go ahead and put it away, which is not a nice touch. It's something that not many keyboards have, or really not many devices have anymore. They don't have a place to store the dongle. This does, which is nice. And it's also that accent seafoam green color, which again is available in all of the keycaps that they have that are extras. Aside from being Bluetooth and 2.0 gigahertz Bluetooth, you can also use this keyboard wired, which is really great because again, I already have a wire. That's how I use it, so I don't drain any of the battery. But if you do use Bluetooth a lot and you like using it Bluetooth, you like taking it everywhere, the RGB also has an indicator light, which is on the top left right next to the escape key, which will tell you whenever the battery on this keyboard is low, so you know exactly when to charge it. Now the battery claim for this keyboard is 240 hours, which honestly sounds like a lot, but it's just about a month of everyday use if you're using it for 8 hours a day. Say you're using it for work, use it for 8 hours a day for about 30 days or 20 days if you're counting only business days. That's about how long this keyboard is going to last, which is pretty good. I mean, I have my Logitech MX keys back there. That lasts also about a month, and then you can just charge it right back up and it'll last you a whole nother month. I have not tested this. Like I mentioned, I am using this keyboard wired, but a lot of the times for keyboards, I do believe in their battery life or their battery hours, because a lot of the times this is true. They have multiple tests. And at the end of the day, if you're not using it that often, and if you're not keeping all of the RGB lights on like 24/7, this will last you quite a bit. Even if it lasts you a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I think that's still great battery life for a keyboard. Now this next part is for all of us Mac users that are looking for a keyboard that's compatible with our Mac. Now, like I mentioned before on other videos, luckily a lot of companies now are making keyboards or mechanical keyboards that are compatible with Mac OS straight out of the box. And luckily the Halo 65 is compatible. In fact, what Nuphy is doing is the same thing as Keychron, and now straight out of the box, the keycaps on the keyboard itself will actually be with the key legends from a Mac computer. Now, I do have to mention that if you are looking at this keyboard being a more customizable keyboard where you can set macros, you can set different lighting functions or specific ones, unfortunately, this does not or is not capable of doing that. If you look at their press release or their page of the Halo 65, it does say that it's compatible with the Nuphy console, but unfortunately, when you look up the Nuphy console, that's only available for the Air 75 or the Air 60 for Windows only. And then even then, this is still in beta testing, meaning it's still not the full program release yet. Hopefully, Nuphy is looking into releasing that for macOS because, again, like I mentioned, their customer base is largely growing into a Mac community because their keyboards are geared towards Mac users. So I think it's really unfortunate that their website doesn't support for that Nuphy console for all of us Mac users. Which brings me to my next point, and that's the customizability of this keyboard. You can swap out the switches, and obviously you can switch out the keycaps to whichever ones you want. Like I mentioned, Gateron does include not only keycaps, but they also include different types of switches in case you want to use either ones that they have. They are selling switches now on their website, but if I was you and you live in the US, I wouldn't order through Nuphy. Like I mentioned, there's other brands like Amazon. You can get them there probably a little bit cheaper. Or where I get them from is Divinity. They don't sponsor me, but I think their website is really cool. You get the switches at a low value. And if you live within the US and you spend over $100, say you buy some specialty switches rather than Gaterons, you might get free shipping if you're spending over $100. And then again, it'll take only 3 to 5 business days for the most part to get to you. Now, if you were lucky enough to get this on pre-order and smart enough to not forget to add the plastic ABS see-through keycaps, you probably got an extra pair of keycaps along with your keyboard that were black and they were shine through. This keyboard does have north facing LEDs, meaning all of the shine through keycaps do look better on this keyboard just because, again, the key legends are usually on the upper part of the keycap itself. So when you have north facing LEDs or LEDs that are on the top part of the switch, those keycaps just shine a lot more. Now, if you're like me, you forgot to add those keycaps to your cart, so you didn't get them for free. So you're stuck with the white keycaps, which honestly still look really great. These are double shot PBT, and I really like the way they look and feel. Now, if you're not looking to make any extra customizations to this keyboard, this is a great option for your beginner keyboard. But if you are looking to down the line switching up things like the plate or including other types of mods on the keyboard itself, this might not be the best option just because in things like switching out the plates, like other custom keyboards, you can look up plates and you can find brass plates, aluminum plates, FR4 plates. Nuphy doesn't include any other plates. It's only what you get with the keyboard itself. Like I mentioned, you do get to customize though the switches and the keycaps themselves, and then do other little custom mods like the tape mod or anything like that. Now, I will be making a video on how to customize this keyboard even more to make it sound exactly like you want. So make sure you stay tuned, make sure you subscribe to not miss that future video. And now the last part of the Halo 65 is the pricing. This comes in at $120 with possibly $20 or $30 shipping. So really it comes out to about $150 for this keyboard without any extras. Now, for a keyboard that sounds this good straight out of the box, that's honestly not that bad. A lot of times with keyboards, you're paying now for the design, because if you want a custom keyboard, remember that Keychron does have sub $100 keyboards, as well as having those available on Amazon already. Just remember though that both of these brands do ship from China, so both of them will have that extra $20 or $30 extra stacked on top of the keyboard itself. The ones that I'm talking about for Keychron, they're their V series, which are some of the new ones they're coming out with. Those are already available on Amazon with free shipping, and they're still less than $100. Now, the Halo 65 still isn't available on Amazon, but it most likely will be in a couple of months, just like we saw with the Air 75 and the Air 60 from Nuphy. So if you are someone that doesn't want to go through the hassle of waiting for shipping from China, you could wait till all of these are available on Amazon. I will make sure to update the description with the links to where you can get this, and whenever it's available on Amazon, I'll make sure to come back to this video and include that link down below. Now, that is everything I have for my first impressions of this keyboard. It's a good keyboard if you're not really looking to make too many mods to it. It does have a clean aesthetic. They do include the white and the black, which are honestly very neutral colors. They're colors that'll probably look good with any setup. So that's available. And if you like orange accents, that is available with both of the keyboards as well. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe to not miss my future mod video where I take this apart and I modify it to sound exactly like what I want it to. Now, if you're a nerd like me and you like sound tests, I did buy some extra Gateron and Nuphy baby Kangaroo switches. I'm not sure if there's any difference between these and the ones from Gateron themselves, but they do have Nuphy's branding on them as well. I did buy those so that you can see how this keyboard sounds with the stock Gateron browns as well as the stock Gateron and Nuphy baby Kangaroo switches. So here's how both of those sound.